Hello, it's Linda, Lady and the Frogs, back again. And I've just changed the calendar over so that I actually know what day it is, because I don't really. I mean, I know that it's Tuesday. I didn't know what date it was, so it's the 6th. So, yes, there we go. So I'm back from Scotland. Obviously, we were only there for like 2 days. 2 days, was it? So, went down on Thursday. We sort of came back Saturday just so that it wasn't like crazy trying to return the hire car on Sunday. You know, and in hindsight, it probably could have like done less time, but Wednesday was a palaver for me because I worked on Wednesday morning and then went to pick up the hire car. Which now isn't as simple as you think it is. I mean, I've hired cars before and I've hired vans before, and even from Sixt, which is the company that I used, and we've never had to do this before, but now you have to get something called a DVLA check, presumably because of the amount of people who have other people taking the blame for stuff that they do on their license or not passing the test. Anyway, yeah, so that was something that I hadn't done, and I couldn't read the terms and conditions properly because they were blocked by Microsoft on things. I didn't actually realise until I got there. Mine was fine getting this DVLA code, but for some reason Jason couldn't get it. So at one point it was like, oh, it looks like you might be doing all the driving. No thanks. Anyway, I'm putting my flipping shoes on because I need to go to the post office, and then I need to crack on with eBay listing. So anyway, it was actually, it's been really nice actually going away, and I know that sounds quite callous because we went away for a funeral, but we stayed with family, and it was really nice to go up. You know, the fact that it's taken a funeral to be able to get my dad in a flipping car. My mum just sort of like goes along with things, but she does complain. The car that I hired as well was supposed to be like, it was supposed to be an estate, and I thought it would be quite low on the ground, but apparently an estate now looks like a people carrier, so it was still quite high up. We ended it with an MG, and having driven an MG now, I'm surprised that I ever drove a Rover Mini for so long, because this is a completely different car. I wouldn't buy one like that. It was okay. It didn't really give us any problems, but I wouldn't. No, it did give me problems because the handbrake isn't a handbrake. Manual car, but the handbrake on a new car, for some reason, is the same button as what you have on a window, an electric window. Really don't like that. I like having the control of a ratcheted handbrake, so didn't like that. But anyway, you know, this is a massive deal for me because I spent so much time with my dizziness not driving, you know, and I forced myself to drive, and I just think, thank God that I got myself back into driving. So this you know, this is a real thing for me. This is a real boon for me because I've actually managed to like get myself back driving, and I really cursed myself for the time that I didn't spend driving. So fantastic. Yeah, so it was nice seeing family. It was a good funeral. This is the funeral thing. And surprisingly, you know, stuff that I didn't even realise about my aunt, who, you know, I knew a lot of growing up, but I didn't realise that she had passed. She's still a record holder for something that she did in like 1951, I think. So she did a bicycle ride from London to Brighton, and her fastest time is still the fastest time. So it's funny what you don't know about your family, isn't it? and it's weird that that record's never been broken in 70 years. So yeah, it was really nice. Just good to go away. And when somebody's old and you expect them to not live forever, it doesn't feel so bad, and it was just a celebration of life. So there we go. So I am back now, and I've got to do reselling stuff. I should have shown you what was sold, but it's absolute garbage. And this sellotape's really annoyed me as well, because I ran out of tape, and I'm sure you can hear that. There's no adhesive on this sellotape that eBay have sent me. They're so glorious. I'm sure that when they see my name on my packaging orders, they just find some stuff from the must dispose pile and send it to me, because some of it's been so substandard. The polybags as well. But anyway, so my experiment, instead of putting my shop on holiday mode, which I would have ordinarily done when I went away, I decided to end everything. So I ended my entire shop's listings on Tuesday, and then from Tuesday night onwards I only had auctions running, so 7-day auctions running, because obviously they would then finish when I came back. So I had 7-day auctions going from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and over the weekend. So I didn't have any buy it now starting until the Friday, because obviously if I'd had buy it now starting on the Friday and then they sold, I wouldn't have to post them until the Monday when I was back. So I've had at least 40 items going live every day. For the most part, 20 auctions and 20 buy it nows, but it's sort of been like a mix of the two. So you would expect, with stuff going live at that rate, I would have made some sales, but I didn't. I sold one item on auction, which was been a recurrent auction for the last 6 weeks or so, which had no interest. It had 8 watchers. Those people, I don't mind, they were barely even watching it, because it ended up selling for £10.50. So that was a fat face dress. And then somebody sent me an offer on this, which is just a basic Lego set, which I could have showed you, but then I just packed it up without really thinking about it, because I was tidying up at the same time. So I've got that. And then that sold on my personal account, which I didn't do anything with, and that's a record, one of my brother's records. So looking at the stuff of my brother's, I've only got 12 records left which are listed of his. So bearing in mind, we emptied his house before he died. It's taken me 5 years pretty much to sell through his record collection. It's pretty long-winded. At the moment it does. I mean, now that it's been down to a manageable amount just in a box, and they just go on recurrent auctions on my personal account. So that is what that is. Now I have 2 bags of stuff from my great aunt, which we brought back because obviously we had a decent sized car. So I've already sorted through that. So a lot of it is just basic brands, but there's some really good stuff there. I've got 2 Radley bags, which I don't know anything about really. I know that none of it's fake. Obviously because it's up in Scotland, there's a lot of Edinburgh woolen mill brands, which I don't really know what to do with. So I'm going to take some of it to obviously where I work. And probably list some of the other stuff, in light of the fact that I do have this massive auction allowance now on my account, because they increased your limits. I've got no reason to not do loads of auctions, and I do like doing auctions. So I've kept quite a lot of it back to do that with. I may well like change my mind as I go through it. So I've got all that to photograph. I've got a whole dearth of stuff. I've got at least 3 boxes worth of clothes which I haven't listed or photographed or done anything with. Obviously I've got Lego. I was really slack on my listing. I was in a bit of a rut prior to going away anyway, so that is another reason why I did this reset on my account, because I think it was needed. However, today I have still to do jumpers, jeans, trousers, dresses dresses is obviously important because, well, we were having really nice weather. It doesn't look too crash hot at the moment. So I've got those to do. I've got skirts to do. I've got coats. I think that's everything in my stock take, but all of that stuff needs scheduling. I'm probably going to up the ante on how much stuff is going live every day. I thought 40 a day would be okay. I mean, that's enough that's enough to kill you if you're a chain smoker, isn't it? 40 a day. You'd think that it would like do something to eBay. Apparently not. So yeah, my feelings about what I did in regards to my eBay store is don't bother. I've done it for you. You don't need to do that. We all do this sell similar thing, but I really don't think that it's done any good tiering it to go live. Most of the time when I do and end all my shop and I put it all, I'll do like a box a day, and it'll never be at the point where I don't have lots of stuff in my shop. But you know, at one point I only had like 20 items in my shop when it was on that first day of only having 20 auctions going live. So you know, I thought that it would ramp up. I'm only at like the 200 mark at the moment. I did schedule a load of the stuff for next week. The bric-a-brac and the rest of it, so I haven't got any of the jigsaws or anything on at the moment. I haven't got any of my soft toys on. So all of those are for next week. And I had all the men's shirts going live yesterday. It's just dead. If that isn't pretty, you know, I was thinking maybe I just had stale listings because a lot of this stuff hadn't been reanalyzed or, you know, refreshed since December. And I thought, well, you know, there's an aspect of that to it, but I don't believe it anymore. So anyway, I've got enough stock, enough fresh stock for me to have just been like photographing and listing today. So I've got, you know, I didn't really need to be doing this exercise, so I'm going to finish this exercise quite sharpish. Because I've ended things in sort of tiers, I've got jumpers to do there, which just seems really quite pointless. But I don't see the point in delisting winter wear, because a lot of the time I will sell it. I will schedule that a bit further down the line. It's the dresses and the jeans that I need to put on. Obviously the coats I don't need to stick on either. So anyway, yeah, I have all of that to do. I keep looking over there because that's my first box to do, which is the jumpers. So that just needs scheduling. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this post. And I mean, that is just, the proof is in the pudding in the fact that I've only had 2 sales on, you know, the fact that that's my personal account. I've only had 2 sales in 5 days. No, well, yeah, that isn't true because I did have to post stuff before I left. So it's 2 sales in 5 days. Barely any watches. The proof is in the pudding. It doesn't work. And there is something fundamentally wrong with eBay. It is just garbage. Yeah, thank God for the job. Anyway, right, I'm going to go and crack on with these things. So that's my feelings. Not recommended to do what I did in regards to your eBay store. Put yourself on holiday mode. Don't do what I did. But you know, the break was good. It was really good to see family. There's an upcoming wedding. So it's nice to meet people before you go to the wedding. It would have felt a bit weird going to somebody's wedding when I've only know the bride. Anyway, and you see as well, I've come back with stuff which I can list on eBay, because, and it saves Carol having to deal with, that's my cousin, it saves her having to deal with all the stuff of Aunt Az. Yeah, that's not her name. We are weird in our family, and you know, I've realised that my mum is very weird as well, which is probably where I know I have a dark humour, and you guys say that I'm very funny. But my mum's dark humour in her old age, and what is sort of like, there are some really obvious signs that my mum is deteriorating a bit, memory wise and the rest of it, because she keeps repeating herself, you know, and like telling stories in a way which other people might not necessarily appreciate. Let's just put it like that. And then she forgets that she's told the story, which was probably like embarrassing, and then she'll start telling the story again. So, you know, but then more worryingly, she was like forgetting where she stayed last night, which is the first sign of dementia. I do wonder sometimes whether these things are hereditary, but anyway, yeah, my mum's dark humour after the funeral, she said to me, "Oh, I'll be next," which she says in jest, but then I wonder how much she does say it in jest, you know, and I know that it's our humour, but it's not appreciated. What can you do? So anyway, yeah. Anyway, the drive was okay. Jason ended up doing some of the driving as well. He ended up doing the lion's share of it going back. Wednesday was awful. I went to pick my parents up on the Wednesday and was just parked up on the M6. It took an extra hour than it usually does. But anyway, yeah, I've had a break and now I need to really crack on with it. I have 3 days ahead of me before I'm back at work. I did work yesterday, which was Monday, hence why we had to be back before the weekend had ended. And now apparently, according to this, I'm not in until late Friday. I'm doing an evening one, which I don't like. I suspect they've probably made a mistake with this, so I'm half expecting a phone call because somebody's left. Somebody has let them down. A new starter has let them down, so I don't know. But you see, I let them down last week by having to take the time off. Anyway, right, and if this isn't helping me get anywhere, let's crack on. Right, so I've been back for ages. I've just had a cheese sandwich, and I will be getting on with my bloody work. It's just something's like kind of incensed me a bit. So this is my sofa. Obviously frogs. So balcony's out there, and I've just realised I have a pigeon nest on the corner. I'm going to show you because this is absolutely crazy. So for the record, so my sofa's there, yeah, very crazy. You normally see this when I'm doing the video. That's my normal mic, so I'm on a different mic. Yeah, and I haven't commenced work. So I was hearing this chaos when I came back, pigeons screaming, and I was like, what is going on? This is driving me up the wall. So bearing in mind, since the weather's changed, we have been sitting out here constantly. We came out here and we were listening to loud music on Sunday after we dropped the car off. So this is actually my balcony, so I could give you a bit of a talk through because I've only just planted most of this out. And these are the cucumbers which I've only just done because I've only just got compost for them. And these planters are ones from Cancer Research. So I know that I only picked that up about 4 or 5 weeks ago. And it didn't have any compost in it. And I literally only put the compost in it 2 weeks ago and planted these out which were inside because it was obviously too cold for them to go in, and I've got my lettuce here. So I mean, that's 2 weeks growth on the lettuce. It's not been going very long. And I've had all this out and I've cleaned, and this is where we sit. Now, so bearing in mind, I was only fiddling around with this the other day. You will not believe what is here. That is a nest. There is a little guy sitting in it. And the pigeon has just been there. So this guy here is from, this penguin is from the Christmas market. And that thing there, which is the top of a drinks bottle, is what I've had on my cucumbers to protect them from the slugs. So it's only been, oh, it's blown. because it's so drafty. But look, can you see? Lots of shit. We've been wondering why we've had flies. This is apparently our pigeon friend. Can you believe it? I mean, I don't feel bad for making all this noise. I'm annoyed how much shit there is there. Because I cleaned so much, and we've been wondering why we've had so many flies. You know, and look at all the shit that's in there. Look at all that shit. So they've been going in there and bloody using that as a toilet. I'm quite annoyed. But I know everybody else would be like thrilled to have a friend. I can't believe how unfazed it's been. I don't think I'm being that noisy now. As we sit out here, I got drunk. I was asleep on the balcony on Sunday, and we were chilling out here, and that turns out we've got a pigeon friend. So there's the parent. And we did wonder saw this couple the other day who was sat there. So that's the dad, I think. The dad's the one supposed to look after. So now I don't understand how it's been sat on an egg when I've been out here and I've been doing stuff. And the neighbour downstairs, they do stuff and they're quite noisy as well. I just don't understand, of all the places in the world, of all the places in Manchester, all these choices that they've got, why they've picked here. So I'm not going to stop using my balcony just based on this, because this damn pigeon knew that we live here. But it may also be because, so this is where all the birds are. We have our own feeders that we've got there, and the neighbours, they have feeders too, you know. I just cannot believe it. Cannot believe it. Now I'm attached to the aloe vera. And you can tell that we've been out here. Can you teach your offspring to fly and move them on, please? We don't want to be responsible for this pigeon. So there you go. I know other people would be like thrilled to have wildlife that close, but it's actually quite annoying because of the amount of shit that there is there and the amount of flies, because we keep getting flies in here, and obviously this is our main living area with a kitchen there, and we keep getting flies in here, and we have the flies up anyway, but it's like yesterday we had the door open yesterday, and there was loads of flies coming in. I couldn't fathom it. I just can't believe I haven't noticed this. So how long was it sat on the eggs? It can't have been sat on the eggs very long. I often have that door open. My head is spinning because I know when I put the planter there. So it's literally, it must have been, they've only been there for 4 weeks. So I think it's like 3 weeks sat on the egg. So there would have been a pigeon sat there on the eggs and I haven't noticed. I know it's been like not the greatest of weather, but I've been out there because I've been planting things. I hope the damn thing learns to fly sooner rather than later. I just don't want it there, because bearing in mind that I clean the balcony and I paint it, so I've painted that bit, and it's literally, there's twigs and then it's just thick with my husband is going to be livid when he gets in. I just know he is. This is not going to go down well with him. We don't like the pigeons because that's why we only have those bird feeders that they're not interested in. Obviously they do think it's a readily available source of food because they've set up their nesting. But we find that they just eat and then they shit and then they don't go on, like we will like eat and then go to work and get on with whatever we need to do. Pigeons don't do that because they're just like carry on eating. So I'm not a fan of pigeons. We like the magpies. We have a magpie as well. I just cannot believe it. Anyway, this is distracting. So now I've wasted loads of time just watching this bird being fed and like trying to work out how on earth they've managed to do that when I've been pottering around on the balcony and that planter has only been there for 4 to 5 weeks. I just can't. I put the planter in position and I hadn't got any compost in it, so I've only just put the compost in there, so I don't understand how they've done it in the space of 5 weeks. Now they've got an offspring. Yeah, it'll fly really quickly, won't it? It's only a pigeon. Of all the tall buildings in Manchester, you have to fly into mine. Hello! Right, Wednesday the 7th morning. We are going to do the rest of these relist, sell similar stuff. Incensed by so many things, incensed by eBay, incensed with that pigeon. I know a lot of you will think, oh, it's so cute, that's so wonderful. It is not. I have just spent 20 minutes chasing down 2 flies in here, spraying it, and we had the door closed all of yesterday and today, and yet they're still in here. The only window we've got open is right at the bottom of the apartment, but they still seem to be making their way in here because it's disgusting. That nest is about 20% twigs and 80% just raw excrement, big round white turds just make up the most of that. So I'm sure you could see on some of the footage how many flies there were around there. So there's big ones and then there's little ones, and the little ones are like just make it itch. So I hope that pigeon flies in the next few days. I'm just waiting for the day when it fledges so that we can just clean that up and put some netting up and hopefully prevent this happening again, because I just don't want, I mean, obviously don't want to do anything to the pigeon. It's just annoying. You know, I have quite a lot of pride in my balcony, and every year I clean it and I paint it. So it's annoying in that respect because obviously I've done that every year. So I've painted it this year, and now that little corner will be rotting away under the pile of all this excrement because it is that disgusting. There is nothing nice about it. And only a pigeon would be this stupid to nest on somebody's balcony where they can see there's people there. You know, if it's not us, it's them downstairs. Ugh. Anyway, so after finished being riled up about that yesterday, and my husband came home and he was annoyed. Yeah, he's more annoyed than I am. Let's just hope that it stays a bit inclement and we can keep that door closed, because if the weather improves, it's not going to be the best, because obviously we'll need the door open. So yesterday I did the sell similar on all the remaining stuff which I've got, which was skirts, jumpers and coats. So I've done them, I've scheduled some, I've put some on auction, some of the lighter stuff is on auction, and it's scheduled. A bunch of it went live yesterday. I've started on the dresses because for some reason I didn't end everything in categories properly. I thought I had, but obviously I hadn't, because there was a few dresses. So those are the ones which are in the box, the ones which are listed. You can't even see what I'm pointing at. So the ones inside the box, the ones which are done. The stuff that needs stock taking is what's on top. So there's 2 boxes there of dresses. These are trousers, those are men's trousers, really sell through fast. And then I've got another box here, which is massive. Oh, it's just so much. I don't know what it is about women's wear bottoms that doesn't sell. So I really must stop picking up women's wear bottoms. And I mean, it's stuff which is good, which hasn't sold. So Oscar, I know that they're Max Mara, and I know that my prices are good. I mean, that has actually sold, and then they sent it back. So that's another thing that I've done this morning, is I've had to, well, that's when I was outside yesterday on the balcony when I kind of realised that that bird was there, because I was trying to get dog hair off a coat which I sent to somebody, and then it took them 3 weeks to send it back because they'd obviously been wearing it. So I mean, that does say something about how inclement it's been. So yeah, this coat came back covered in dog hairs, so I was trying to delint it, but it was that dirty, and I can tell that they've been wearing it because there was like dirt on it, which I know wasn't there before. So I relented and I put it on a hand wash and put it through the washing machine. What's this beating noise? Now what's going on? There's always something going on here. That sounds too close for it to just be somebody on the street. Yeah, anyway. I've got this massive box here of the women's wear, which has got to do, but it is shorts as well as trousers. But it's like, you know, I mean, I know Tommy Hilfiger doesn't sell, but I've also got Lucy and Yak in there. I think I probably would have, I think I probably need to drop the price on the Lucy and Yak based on the fact that Lucy and Yak have got their own eBay store. Anyway, that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to get these things on, and then in the process of doing that, I realised that there is at least 5 boxes of new stock, and then obviously the stuff which I've got to deal with, which has come from relatives. So I've got so much stuff which I need to start doing. So I need to stop being distracted by pigeons. Just keep the door closed, pretend they're not there. It's one of them, because it's like, if I feel that if we keep going out there, they might abandon the nest, and that would be even worse, won't it? Because then they're even less likely to sling their hook. Oh. Why? Anyway, right, so that's my quest. I know that I work very well of an evening, and I did most of this in the evening yesterday. I'm just not very much of a morning person, so I just need to find my groove and get on with this. God, right, I am at my desk. Now there's another gungling fly that's come in here, because the window's open at the other end. This is really incensing me, so I've just blasted that, and it's decided that it's got to come and die over here, and it's just like landed in my computer. Oh, this is so annoying. That racket, that banging noise that I was hearing, was Asda delivering, which looks massively inconvenient, because the guy who looked like Phil Jupiter's was just standing there not helping, while my neighbour was scrabbling around on her hands and knees, putting all her shopping into like little plastic bags. So I'm so glad I don't get my food delivered. I don't know how other people do it, but it just seems retarded to me that they don't come up the stairs. Ugh! Right, I need to get stuff done. Okay, so it is Thursday morning. I do need to tie this video up because obviously it's become long-winded and me just ranting about pigeons. Pigeons. Well, ranting about flies. Flies was the disturbing thing yesterday. I had to stop so many times and spray for flies. And I ended up closing the window because it was that bad. So it's not great. Yeah, it's not great. Anyway, the situation is that I have completed all of my relisting. So everything has been done on a cell similar. It's all been sort of like checked for price, you know, like the silly things in like the mistakes. It's like some of them did have like mistakes in there. Nothing was delisted, so that's good. I hadn't lost anything. I've pulled a few bits of stock to redonate. So I'm at a sort of space where, you know, I know that everything that I need, everything that I sell, I know that I've got. I haven't lost it. So it's always a good place of peace of mind. So at the moment, my eBay store has 200 and this is really random. I have 203 live items and 203 scheduled items. Totally bizarre. Don't know why. So that's my situation. I am scheduled pretty much for the next week. So technically I don't have to like rush, but I do, because as I've found out, none of this stuff has really gained any traction or any interest. I've had to pay my own shop fees out of my bank account. I've been seriously considering about dropping my shop subscription down, but obviously I haven't done that. And the exercise that I've been applying when I've been doing this sell similar is putting loads of stuff onto auction, which I couldn't do if I downgraded my store, because I think although they've increased it, you still only get 100 free auctions, which is nowhere near enough what I do, because I have everything going on a auto relist. So everything relists itself. If it doesn't sell on auction, it just tiers it so that it does it like 2, 3, 4 days later. So I've always got auctions going live. So the exercise that I've done has meant that I've been able to set that up. So I'll have auctions ending every day now. But saying that, it's just not selling. This is the only thing that I have sold. So I've got to go out and post this. This sold last night for £4.99. Lord only knows what I've paid for this. I mean, obviously, I can find out because on my spreadsheet, but it is just a vintage blouse. It's probably £3, maybe £2 that I paid for it. I don't think I would have paid too much for it. It's quite an autumn print on there. Nice blouse anyway. But there you go. It's only gone on auction. So I'm going the other way. I'm not going to my usual post office. Mind you, my usual post office has changed now since I started working. And I'm going to go to B&M, get some bits, some necessities. Yeah. Get some bits. Post this. Thankfully that is large letter. I need to work out what I need to use my packaging voucher for. I mean, my eBay fees don't add up at the minute because I've probably said this before, is that I'm just not covering them. Usually I used to cover my eBay fees in days worth of sales, and it's just not happening at the moment. It's very, very disheartening. I know that other people have said that they've had like a glitch on their eBay account. I'm wondering now if I have, or if it's just because I haven't been listing well and the stuff is stale. But I mean, it shouldn't be stale. But I still haven't added anything. So that's going to change, but I have got to like bust a move. That's the thing that I put in the wash. So I have got 1, 2, No, that's Lego at the bottom there. There's one, an overflowing one there, and then this, and I've got two of these. I mean, this one's overflowing, so that's new stock. What's in there? That's new stock as well. Flipping heck. Yeah, that's all new stock. And then I've got stuff that I've got that stuff which was accidentally sent to me. Accidentally on purpose by the Royal Mail employee who was stealing my Christmas presents, and then swapped with all the Shein stuff. So I've got all this Shein stuff. I do need to go through that, and got a face full of hair. Yeah, probably donate it because there's no point in putting that on. I just had this, like, I'd kept it for ages because I thought that they were going to like re-deliver it. They were going to come and collect it and re-deliver it. Which does say, it doesn't say much about Royal Mail, does it? Anyway, that's me done for today. I'm going to go and post this. It's not me done for today. It's me done for this video. So thank you for watching. I will, in light of the fact that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boxes of stock, probably do a number of haul videos. You know, so I'll probably go through all my stock now and then just like do several haul videos and put them live over the next few days. It seems sensible. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Sorry about all the craziness. It's just, there's always something here. It's literally such a frustrating place to live. Last night I only had 4 hours sleep anyway, so I'm surprised I'm even functioning today. Anyway, there's a lot of screaming on the street. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll be back again soon with some haul videos.